Hey, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Blaine Austin here, Sewing Machines Plus. Glad you're joining our live show. Hey, we have a great show today, guys. We have Amy from Handi Quilter is going to be here today, and she is going to do some demos for us. We got a ton of giveaways and things going on. So, how many people we got online, guys?
100 people so far.
All right, so we got only 100 people online. So we're going to give it just a few minutes before we get started, to everybody join in. But so today's topic, I just kind of want to let everybody know what's going on. Amy's going to kind of teach y'all about stripping with your clothes on. It's pretty awesome. So we're going to talk a lot today about how you do stripping with the long arm, and also she's going to talk about how you do binding. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. She's going to do some demos on her Handi Quilter long arm, and we got some specials that we're going to actually talk about. And y'all want to put that on the screen, and I can talk a little bit about it. You know, put that graphic up so everybody can see. All right. David's rushing around. There you go. Can we see that? Pull that up where everybody can see that really good. All right. So Handi Quilter, we've got a promotion going, and it's called Back to School, and the teacher is in. And so this is going to be a pretty cool little promotion. And below, I think somewhere on the screen, Kyle's going to have a link put up that it's to a Google Sheets. So basically, it's buy a Handi Quilter long arm quilting machine package or a Pro Stitcher. And the Pro Stitcher is the robotic system that you can put on a quilting machine. And we'll connect you with the education expert. So this promotion is going to go September 4th through September the 21st. And basically, you purchase a long arm machine package and receive. You're going to get local training and support from your Handi Quilter retailer. So that's going to be, you're going to get support from your local retailer. You get plus 5 hours of one-on-one video chat, quilting mentorship with a Handi Quilter National Educator, and you schedule it in a convenient 1 hour increments. That's a $500 value. And then receive an additional 5 hours of mentorship if you purchase a Pro Stitcher with it. So that's 10 hours when paired with a machine. So if you buy the Pro Stitcher with the machine, you're going to get 10 hours of that one-on-one mentorship. And then the forever access to the Handi Quilter Academy virtual sneak peek event. And that's 4 video classes with Handi Quilter's best instructors. And that's a $200 value. So it's going to be a really, really cool thing. And we'll put that back up again on the screen before the show's over. And so anybody is interested in Handi Quilter. And then also Kyle's going to have that Google Sheet link up there. So if you're interested in a Handi Quilter or a Pro Stitcher or anything, have any questions whatsoever about it, on that sheet, you just hit the link. You can put your contact information and phone number and what you're interested in. And we're going to have one of our long arm experts call you and help answer any questions you may have, or if you want to place an order or anything like that. So we are, just to let you know, they're the largest Handi Quilter dealer in the world. We are probably, our staff is probably more versed on Handi Quilters and just long arms in general than anybody in the country. We sell a tremendous amount of them, and we have a great support staff. All of our service technicians are certified on all long arms, and our experts and all of our online salespeople all know long arms. We have a ton of long arm quilters that work for us. And so it's a really a good package to get, because when you buy something a long arm related from us, you're getting not a great machine, but you're getting that support too. And I can't tell you how many times I've had people, I've overheard them call in and talk about they're having problems with the long arm. They can't figure something out, and we've had people either FaceTime them or even talk them through it. And well, hey Jamie A. Y'all like the quilt behind me? So if you like that quilt behind me, y'all chime in and share. If y'all love this show, share it. That's how you can win. There's in our giveaways that we have, there's several different ways that you can win. And you can comment, you can share it, And you can also, Kyle, what's the other way? They can share, comment, and like. That's right. So you can like it, share it, and comment, and it all enters you to win. So share it as many times as you can. And so anyway, we're talking about the quilt behind me. That quilt was provided by Pat, and she was gracious enough to loan this quilt to us. And she actually bought the kit from us. And so that kit, we're going to show the link up there today. We have 6 of these kits left. I think they're, what are they called, $129? Yeah. Okay, $129. And as y'all can see, it's just a beautiful quilt. And so we have those kits online that you can buy. And we're going to have a really, really important announcement on kits coming up, I think, around the 1st of November or October. Is it October, Kyle? October? Early October, we're gonna have something that's going to blow you away. And if you like to quilt and do things, we're going to make it extremely easy for you. And we got something we're going to announce and launch early October, and we're super excited about it. One of our staff members, Lynn, has been really working hard behind the scenes. Kyle has been working extremely hard behind the scenes on it. And so we're going to have some really cool things that we're going to share with you. So anyway, today, guys, we got a ton of giveaways as well. So make sure you share this, go like it, comment, ask questions. We got a little swag bag that we're going to give away that has some Handi Quilter stuff in it. It has a Handi Quilter apron, and it says on there, it says, "Quilting is my superpower." It's a black apron. It comes in one of our swag bags. And then we have a little tumbler. It says Handi Quilter on it. And then they have a little scissor holder. You can clip this to your shirt, and you can put scissors at the other end, and your scissors are always right there handy for you. So a couple little things in there, and then we got a bunch of other stuff that we're gonna share with you today that you can win. And aren't we giving a sewing machine away today? Sure. Giving another sewing machine away. So if you need a great little sewing machine, we're gonna have I think a brother. Is it a brother today? Got a brother sewing machine we're giving away. So always a ton of stuff. So we're glad you joined in with us today. And so Amy is coming up, and Amy and I met about a year ago, I think, and she came down here in the San Diego area and did events in our stores. And I think it was a Handi Quilter event that we did, and she was just fantastic. And we said right then, we've got to have her back. And so we can't get her back in here in the store, but we can most certainly pull her on Facebook right now. So is Amy on board yet? So let's introduce Amy. Hey, Amy, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. So I told everybody you're going to kind of talk a little about how to strip with your clothes on this morning.
Yes.
So tell us all about stripping.
Well, you just get a pre-cut strip package in whatever you like that comes in the 2.5 inch strips. You're going to sew them together, and we're going to sew them together end to end. And then we're going to do all of the piecing on the long arm, which I think is great. It's fun and it's fast, which is something I really like. And I think I have a video that they're going to show. Maybe. Got a video for me to show. Yeah.
Yeah, he's. Do you hear me, Amy? Yeah, he's working on a video, pulling it up right now. We're going to show a little 6-minute video.
And I'll be happy to answer any questions afterwards about the strip quilting. And then I'll show you how to bind on the long arm as well.
That's what I think everybody's going to be interested in, because most people bind on their domestic machine, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're going to show how to do it on the long arm today.
Yeah.
Now, which long arm Handi Quilter you're using today?
I have the Infinity that I'm using.
You have the big Cadillac, the big boy.
I do. I'm like, go big or go home, right? I love it. And I do a lot. I do a lot of all kinds of quilting, whether it's free motion, ruler work, or Pro Stitcher. I do it all. And I just love the Infinity because when I'm in Pro Stitcher, I love having that much space. But if I'm doing free motion or ruler work, I still can just do it, toward me, and I have plenty of space. So that's really why I like the Infinity so much.
So, and what size of frame do you have it on?
I have a 12-foot frame.
12-foot. Your background you have there looks awesome. So it looks like you have a really nice little quilting studio, and I
have a beautiful quilting studio. It's a big barn. I just love it.
Okay. So are we ready to key up this video yet? All right. So Amy, we got your video keyed up. We're going to show that to everyone.
Okay, so now we're at my long arm. I've put my back on, I've put my batting in, and I have run a plumb line with my channel lock all the way.
Okay, can you hear me? Because I think the sound on the video is off. I can talk over it though. Do you want me to talk over it? I don't know if you can hear me. But this is a plumb line that I've got going on the long arm. And I'm going to place my quilt strip. Going to place my quilt strip. This is, I'm showing you how I pieced these together. You certainly can do, I just put squares in. You certainly can just straight stitch them all together or put in a diagonal seam to stitch all your jelly strips or 2.5-inch strips together. And here I have them piled up on the side of my machine ready to go. And I just kind of roll them up in a little ball and keep them right there. And then I'm going to take it, I'm going to line that strip up with that plumb line I just did. And I'm going to go needle down, needle up to pull up my bobbin thread. Here I am pulling up my bobbin thread. And I'm actually going to use the move feature on Pro Stitcher right at the moment. I will show you in a minute how to do it without, if you don't have Pro Stitcher. But I'm going to go to the Pro Stitcher tab, and I'm going to go to the move in the ribbon. And if you notice right there, the number that I'm pointing at, that's a speed for the machine to move, and I have continuous and stitch highlighted. And I'm going to push the right facing arrow. And that's going to move my machine in a perfectly plumb line to the right to get ready to stitch that strip down. And I'm going to line that needle up 1/4 inch from my edge. And I'm going to push go, and then my machine starts moving all on its own. And I just manage it since it's going pretty reasonably speed. If you're really good, you certainly could make your machine speed go faster. If you're new at it, you can make it go slower. And I'm just going to walk that foot. The back of my foot is to my needle is a perfect 1/4 inch. So I'm just going to walk that foot across and sew it 1/4 inch. Now, if you don't have Pro Stitcher, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can use your channel lock. Happen to have channel lock on Pro Stitcher, but if you don't have if you don't have a Pro Stitcher, you can use the circle channel locks that go on your wheels. You can purchase those and use those as a channel lock and run your machine by hand across using a channel lock. If you don't like channel locks, you can certainly eyeball it, and you can use a ruler. And so here I've stitched down my first strip. And I like to go ahead and stitch a second stitch down at the bottom of just that first strip only. It's probably, you don't necessarily have to do that step, but I like to be a little bit overly cautious. Helps me keep the quilt lined up straight all the way down for some reason when I stitch that first strip on both sides. Then you're going to take your next strip and lay it right sides together, just like you do when piecing. You're going to lay it down. Oops, there's my finger. Okay, you're going to lay it down, and you're going to stitch the exact same along, stitching those two with a 1/4 inch from the edge all the way down to the end. And you can certainly free motion this and just eyeball the edge of your foot as you go along. Another foot that's really great for this is the 1/4 inch square foot. Sometimes having a square foot keeps that straight line lined up together, but you can just use the foot also that comes with your Pro Stitcher. Comes with your Handi Quilter long arm. And then I'm going to get it all stitched out, and then when you're done, you're going to flip it over. And at this point, I have a little cordless iron that I use, and I iron it right on what's on my long arm. And I just iron it down just like you're ironing your seams when you're piecing on your domestic machine. And I just keep going back and forth. Here I am. I just keep stitching it, iron, stitch it, iron. It's almost over. Stitch it, iron it down, And see how fast, I mean, I know this video is speeded up, but it actually goes really fast, way faster than if I was doing this on my domestic machine. Plus, I'm quilting it as I go. So here it is, all done. And if you look at where all of the ditches are, that's actually quilted. So I could stop right here and cut my quilt off. I would square up the two sides that are uneven. Where I'm pointing is the ditch, and it's quilted at every single ditch all the way down already as I pieced it. So I pieced it and quilted it at the same time. I would just square up that edge at my cutting table and get ready to put a binding on it. I could definitely put my binding on it at the same time. But we have long arms, so I took it one more step and went ahead and did a edge to edge in addition to the quilting in the ditch across the whole quilt. So I made that whole quilt in about an hour on my long arm. And this is the quilt behind me right here. See my machine so you can see it. That I did in that video.
So that's the very quilt that we just got to see in the video, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So explain a little bit. I know that we probably got maybe some beginners out there. Explain when you're talking about, quilting, like stitching the ditch. Explain that a little bit more.
Okay, so when when quilters say stitch in the ditch, they mean in your seam, where your seam goes down in. That's what we refer to as the ditch. So by piecing the strip quilt on my long arm, I'm stitching, I'm creating a ditch, creating the seam at the same time that I'm quilting it, because I'm going through all three layers. So when I fold all my pieces out and iron them out, they're already stitched together and quilted in the ditch. So if I did not put that edge to edge design across the whole quilt, it would have just been quilted in the ditch, which is totally fine and looks great. But since I have a long arm, I had to keep going because that's what I like to do.
I love that technique that you were showing. That looks awesome. So so you can do that, whatever size quilt that you want to do, you can do it just exactly like the process you did, and not have. And I guess my question would be, you were talking about you would never have to take your quilt off your frame to go do a domestic machine. You can just leave it right on there and do all that.
All that piecing right on it.
Right on it. So that's
trickier piecing. You definitely have to go to your machine because your long arm can't make all those funky, or at least I haven't figured it out yet. If I figure out how to do all those funky lines and stuff with some more difficult piece quilts, I'll definitely do a video. But Carmen asked me how long it took me to put the quilt together. It took me about maybe 30 minutes to sew all my pieces together, and then maybe an hour once I was on my machine, the whole thing.
So how long would that have taken, Amy, if you'd have had to, do that off your machine?
I think it would have taken me a lot longer. I don't really know exactly, probably at least double the time, because I would be sitting at my domestic machine, and every time I pieced it, I'd have to then go to my ironing board, iron it, bring it back, piece another thing, go to my ironing board, iron it. But by me being able to do it right on my long arm, I'm standing here doing it all at once, all in the same place. So that cuts down a lot of time. Especially if you're like me, I have 2 grown daughters and all their friends are having babies, and I get a call, I need a baby quilt like yesterday. So this is a great method to do because I can get it done fast.
Okay. So if anybody's got any questions out there, I know that there may be a few of y'all that are brand new to quilting or even thinking about getting into quilting. Feel free to ask your question, and we'll hopefully we can see it. And we'll ask. Well, there's one right here, Lillian. Oh, it just said it would take me hours to piece on my domestic machine. So I totally agree. That method you're using, to me, is the way to go. I think that's incredible, especially if you have room, I guess, to put it. If you got a big enough long arm frame that you can do that on. I think that, but I guess you could do it on any size, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can do it on any size. And Josie asked, do I iron right on the long arm? Yes, I ironed right on my long arm. I just moved my machine out of the way, iron it down, and then put my iron up, and then stitch the next one. It doesn't, I mean, I'm just ironing that fold, that seam down. So it's not like you have to really press it hard. Just a little bit of steam helps it lay flat. So
That's awesome.
it's a great method.
It looks like Missy has a question. So it says, is there anything special you do to the quilt, the designs on the top?
Not sure I understand what she's asking.
Yeah.
I made this quilt a little bit different because I added these little squares in. So instead of just stitching a let's say a jelly roll together end to end, I cut some 2.5 inches squares and sewed them on the ends of all the strips so that these yellow squares would be dispersed through the quilt top. But as far as quilting the design, I tend to like this quilt all straight lines. It's very lineal. So I like to choose a quilt design that's more curved. I ended up doing a quilt design called Primrosy on it, and because it has curves and things to it. So if a quilt is typically all straight, lineal, harsh lines, I will quilt it with something curvy in the pattern. Craig said,
Craig says he used that technique to quilt an American flag for his brother. So that's awesome, Craig.
Awesome. I could totally see this as an American flag. I just need to turn it this way.
I was just sitting there thinking about that. When he said that, that would be a beautiful quilt. I mean, and it would show, you know, how the red and white stripe with that seam in the ditch. Oh my gosh, I bet that'd just be beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, if you want to make another one, I volunteer to take it.
And Denise said, do I sew all the strips together end to end before sewing on longarm? I do that on my domestic machine. That part I do think is easier. You actually I can do that part on the longarm by sewing the vertical seam first. And then when I get to the end, I sew the vertical seams first and then flip it over and then keep going. You definitely can piece along the lines on the longarm as well. On this particular quilt, I pieced it at my domestic machine and then brought the whole strip to my longarm.
Okay, great. So I think that, you know, this is inspiring me to do, we need to have some sort of quilt show, don't we? Because
Well, I love San Diego. Maybe I just need to come down and do a stripping routine.
You come down and strip for us?
Yeah. We're going to have a strip class at SewingMachinesPlus.
Yeah, I got to tell everybody. So Chip is Amy's husband, and he's on it and gave me that little. I stole his line. He's like, you know, the most fun you'll have stripping with your clothes on. And so I had to Chip's on it, gave me the idea. And Chip's also y'all kind of a good team up there. Chip is also he's a certified Handi Quilter repair guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So where do you live at, Amy?
We live on a small family farm in Boring, Oregon. And yes, it's boring. It's outside of Portland. It's about, I don't know, we're about 45 minutes outside of Portland, Oregon.
Okay. I was thinking you were in Oregon.
I haven't been downtown, so.
Well, thank goodness for that. So what I was thinking about, wonder how this would work. This would be kind of cool. We could do a virtual quilt show and have people enter their quilts by taking pictures of them, and then we actually show them on a show and have people vote on their favorite quilt, and we give that person the prize. That'd be our own quilt show. How would that be?
I think it's awesome. What you guys think?
And we're not going to make it complicated like all these, you know, quilt festivals you go to and have all these different categories, whether it's hand quilted or machine quilted or robotic quilted. I don't care. I just want to see some cool quilts. What do you think?
I think that's awesome.
All right, so y'all stay tuned for that. We're going to have a virtual quilt show, and we're going to give you all the details. We're going to get that worked out, and you're going to be able to submit your pictures of your quilt. We're going to highlight them all, and you'll be able to vote on them. And I think we give a really, really good prize for this, guys, because that's a lot of work to do for people to make quilts. And so I think we're going to have to come up with some really cool first prize. We'll give like the first three. We'll let everybody vote, and we'll just take the first three people. We'll do a first, second, and third place, and we'll give some really good prizes for that. So if y'all like that idea, chime in and tell us. Also share our page and like it. So anyway, chime in and let us know if you like that idea, and we will most certainly start working on that. All right. So
I'll even offer up a free. I'll quilt somebody's quilt top for free for Amy's viewing choice. How's that? A different quilt. Like I know the quilt you'll enter is going to be done, but if somebody, I'll offer a prize that I'll quilt somebody's quilt for them.
So we're going to have to, I'm going to have to call Nate over at Handi Quilter and see if I can get him to come in and kind of co-sponsor this thing with me, and we'll get Handi Quilter involved. And so I think we're going to do a virtual quilt show. I love it. So, Laurel, quilt show. So I'm going to take it that she likes that idea as well.
I think it'd be awesome.
So, all right. So what else did we need to know about stripping?
Well, I want to talk about you can do binding on your quilt as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about the binding.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to get my husband to come over here and lower my my laptop. Just push the top down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. That's perfect. Okay. So here we're just going to pretend I have a quilt right here all done. Let me just put this like right here. So we're just going to pretend this is a quilt that I finished in my throat space. Like this is the top of the quilt. This is the bottom of the quilt. I'm going to take my binding, and of course this would be, scoot this over. This would be, this is just a section of binding, and it's folded in half and ironed. And this would be really long, and I'm going to find the middle of it, and I'm going to place it in the middle of my quilt after I've quilted everything, just in my throat space, just so I can roughly do this. It doesn't have to be perfect.
So Amy, I've got a question for you. So when you're talking about binding, you're basically talking about making a border around your entire quilt that binds all the 3 layers together. Is that correct?
Yes, that will then fold to the back.
Okay, so we may have some beginners out there that may not know that term, so I wanted to make sure that we can clarify exactly what you're doing.
Right, it folds around to the back so it encloses the edge of the quilt. And then I'm just going to lay it right on the edge of my quilt after I've quilted it, and I'm going to use either my 1/4 inch square foot, or I can just use my regular foot because it's a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inch away from the edge, and when I get to the top corner, I'm going to sew off at an angle. No, I'm going to move that out of the way again for you. So I would have stitched right up here and then sewed off, and I just parked my machine over here. And then I'm going to do my mitered corner fold. It's exactly the same as you do on your domestic machine. I'm going to do my mitered corner fold, and then I'm going to bring my machine back, stitch back onto my quilt, and I'm going to go all the way across this way. And I'm going to do that in my throat space. And then my binding is already on, ready to be folded over and stitched to the back side. So what I'll do is I'll stitch all of this, stitch my binding on, and then the rest of my binding will be flowing down around here. I then take it, pile it up, advance my quilt, take my binding, throw it out of the way, stitch everything in my throat space, and then come back and stitch the side up on this side and the side here. And then I advance my quilt, stitch my quilt, and I keep doing the binding all the way down. So this way, we're used to having to push our, if this was a big queen size or king size quilt, I'm used to having to push this through my domestic machine. But by doing this on my long arm, it's a lot easier for me just to move my machine and the quilt stays static than it is for me to push it through my domestic machine. And then all I have to do is fold this around to the back, and we usually whip stitch the binding down by hand. You can do that if you want to stitch in the ditch at that point on your domestic. You can do it however way you want to finish it. Chip, can you push me back? Perfect.
So
and it's
can you show us a little demonstration? Amy, is that machine ready to sew?
It is. I wasn't sure if you could see it, so let's go back down, Chip.
Yeah, I think it looked great. Let's kind of just show everybody
So
and exactly what you're talking
This
about.
is the edge of my quilt and my binding.
Gloria says she had no idea that you could do binding on a long arm. I'm amazed by it too, because I've always heard people talk about they get it all quilted, they have to take it off, and they put it on their domestic machine and finish their quilt.
Right. So I just eyeball the edge of my foot to my needle on, unless it's a specialty foot on Handi Quilters, where my needle enters my quilt to the outside edge of my foot is a 1/4 of an inch. So it's a perfect 1/4 of an inch, makes a perfect 1/4 of an inch seam. And I'm just gonna stitch up the binding and keeping the edge of my foot right at the edge of this quilt, and I'm gonna stitch up. And then I get to the corner and I'm just gonna diagonally stitch off. And I want you to see what I'm doing here. So yeah, that'll work. Wait. Okay, you don't normally stitch down to here like I just did. I just want you to see it in the camera. So I just stitched up here, stitched off at an angle, and I usually just park my machine right here. But if I do that, you won't be able to see me. Then I take my binding and I do my little mitered corner fold, and I stitch back. So normally I would be parked right there just off my quilt. So then I'm going to stitch right back on, and I just have to be a little bit careful to make sure I get all of the layers, and I come back on and I stitch across the top of my quilt. And I would keep going and do the other side, and then I would just cut. When I'm done with the whole quilt, I'm going to cut right along this edge, on the edge of my quilt, and then this binding's ready to flip and fold right over on it. So
Amy, I've got a question for you. So after you do what you're doing right there, you go and you cut, and then you're going to take that binding and fold it over to the back side. Then you go back and do you do another seam with your long arm to seal it?
no, I usually stitch all of the backs of my bindings down by hand. And that's what most quilters do. So after I finish the whole quilt along with the binding, I would then take it off my long arm frame, trim all the way around the edge, and at that point fold the binding over and hand stitch it down. You certainly can fold it over and stitch in this ditch right here on your machine and attach it to the back that way. But then again, you're still only pushing it through your domestic machine once instead of twice. And Sharon asked me, do I join my binding on the long arm? You betcha I join my binding on the long arm because it's easier. But I just stitched that one down. I don't have another piece of binding. So when I get to the bottom of the quilt, I wait till I'm about 4 inches, 5 inches at the bottom where my 2 ends are meeting, and I just cut them appropriately. I do the fold over, tuck in, and then I just keep on going and finish off that seam at the bottom. And then the binding is attached all the way around, and no problem. If you're one of those people, like my friend Adam, he hates that method. He likes to do the little cut seam where you do your diagonal because it's less fabric and it seems to lay just a little bit nicer, which I agree. If you're going to do a show quilt or it's an heirloom quilt or one of those quilts that you spent 10 years making, of course do it that way if you want. But then I just leave about 4 inches at the bottom of my quilt, and that's all I have to do on my domestic, and that's it. And yes, Judy, I do have Minky on the back of this quilt. I have it on the back of this. Minky, this is actually Shannon Cuddle fabric, and I love it. It's great to stitch with.
Oh, looks like we got, that was a good question. How do you know the quilt is squared? That's a great question, Jeannie.
Yeah. So if you notice when I first did that plumb line in the video, I was using channel locks. So that gives me a perfect, you're going to use a channel lock and run a straight line all the way across on your batting. And that gives me a perfectly plumb square line to line my top up with. And then as I go down, I use my vertical channel locks, and you can use, whether you have them on Pro Stitcher or whether you have them on your magnetic channel locks or whether you have the little channel locks that go on your wheels. You'll pitch your channel lock, and then when you base down the sides, you use your vertical channel locks, and that keeps your quilt perfectly square as you're stitching it down on your long arm. So when I attach my binding, I already know my quilt is square. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to square it up when I get done.
So Amy, I want to, just because there's so many, maybe some beginners on here, I want you to kind of explain what the channel locks do and the function of your quilting machine and how they're getting it square that way, what you're talking about.
Sure. So on a Handi Quilter, you have 3 ways to get channel locks. You have your Pro Stitcher, which is the computerized robotic system. That has built-in channel locks. You get a vertical channel lock, a horizontal channel lock, and with Move, you actually have a, what's that degree? 45 degree angled channel lock with Move on a Pro Stitcher. Another option is with magnetic channel locks. If you don't have Pro Stitcher, I always recommend people to get those magnetic channel locks. It's a system that Sewing Machines Plus would install when they set up your machine, and it gives you a little button on your long arm, and you push it, and you can get vertical. You push a different button, you get horizontal channel locks. The third way is a little disc. Hold on one second. I think I have a sample. This is a little. These are channel locks that you can purchase from Sewing Machines Plus. They look like this. They kind of act like a boot on a car. You put them on your wheel and it locks your machine in place. And what by channel lock it means, I can set my machine, set a horizontal channel lock, and then I can only move right or left horizontally in one spot, and it stitches a perfectly straight horizontal stitch line. If I do a vertical channel lock, it stitches a perfectly straight vertical stitch this way. And it's the best way to have a quilt square. It's also a great way to get that modern straight line stitch work that if you like that, to get in a quilt. It's super easy.
Explanation, Amy. So that was kind of what I was looking at. I wanted to make sure everybody kind of understood what the term channel locks, because some people may think it's the pair of pliers, the channel locks you use. So I wanted them to understand that was locking your machine in to go horizontal or vertical in a straight line, that you're going to ensure that those lines are perfect every time. And I know, like the Pro Stitcher has the joystick mode. I love that part of the Pro Stitcher. And then you have channel locks in there, so the computer's doing it. It's going to be perfectly straight when you do it. So I think, can we have that question that popped back up? I think one of the questions, I can't remember what it was, they were asking, I can't remember who asked it now. They were asking, how do you, did you bind on the binding? I think they were talking about how they join the corners. Can you find that, David?
I think she asked how we did the ends. So,
yeah, how you do the ends.
Right. What I do is I just fold over one of my ends, so it makes a nice, I don't know if you can see that, it makes a nice angled fold, and then I bring my other end of my binding and I tuck it right up in there so it's folded over it, and then there's no raw edge showing. And I just, when I get to the bottom of it on my long arm, I do it exactly the same. It's no different than your domestic machine. You're just working on here. I tuck one end inside the other, make sure it's nice and flat, and continue stitching with my machine across. And I think if you try it once on long arm, it'll click with you and get it. If not, you can send me an email and I'll give you a good explanation on how to do it. How's that?
Kathy, I hope we answered your question. Now, so if people wanted to get in touch with you, Amy, how can they get in touch with you? Like, do you have a Facebook page?
I do. It's all under SewFab Amy, SewFabAmy. And I do have my own webpage, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Feel free to contact me through any of those means. I'll answer, unless I'm doing something like this or in the middle of teaching a class, I'm happy to answer people's questions. That though leads to that promo. Thanks, there it is. That promo that Handi Quilter's getting about, you get time with a national educator, which is somebody like me. I think there's 40 of us, 42 maybe, all over the country. I know that if someone takes advantage of this promo, they're going to try to give you an educator that is either in your time zone or close to your time zone. And I am floored by this offer because I can't imagine when I first bought my long arm years ago, how awesome it would have been for me to have time with somebody that's a professional in the industry, you know, for me to ask personal one-on-one questions with. It is a game changer. You're not gonna, it's gonna take the fear out of a long arm, and it's amazing how much instruction, how good you're gonna feel about your long arm in such a short amount of time with 5 hours one-on-one with somebody. And you don't have to use them all at once. You can use them in, you know, I hate to say issues or problems because I don't really have any problems with my long arm. It's usually user error. But if you're stuck and not knowing where to go, don't worry, you're not going to burn. You don't have to burn through your 5 hours in one visit. You get it as you need it, which is awesome. I just can't even imagine being able to do that.
You brought up a great point. You know, we have a really good relationship with Handi Quilter naturally, and we have Handi Quilter educators nationwide that we actually can. We were sending people out to their house if they had problems. They go right to their house and help them one-on-one, and that's what we try to do. We try to offer a level of support like no other, as far as phone support to have problems. We have technicians nationwide, so if you ever even have a problem with any kind of your machine and you can't get it fixed yourself, we can't walk you through it, we have a technicians nationwide, and we've actually flown them right into your house to take care of problems. So we really try to go that step beyond everybody else. And one of the things too that we're changing, before, when you bought a quilting machine from us and you put a pro stitcher on it, we actually flew people out here to San Diego and took a pro stitcher class. It was part of the, you know, your purchase. Now we're going to have it to where we're going to have a virtual class, so they'll be able to stay home on their machine with their pro stitcher, and the instructor will be able to do it via the web, just like we're doing now, stream it. And so that's one of the things we've changed, and we're really excited about launching that.
It's awesome. It's just another way Handi Quilter and Sewing Machines Plus is just going to go above and beyond to make sure you know what you're doing and that you understand your machine, so that we're not going to let you just end up at home staring at something and not know how to use it. It's going to be a great feature and a great option.
Yeah. You know, you're right, Amy. The biggest fear and I've seen with people, and the number one thing I've heard when people buy a quilting machine is the frame. They're intimidated because of putting that frame together. And so that's one of the things. If somebody can come out there and do an installation and put their frame together and put the head on it, and you know, get it leveled up, you know, that puts a lot of that fear away. And the number one thing that we've seen when people have problems is just the improper installation, because you know, it's so important to level that machine up and make sure that you have a really good base for that your head to sit on. And when we found when that's done really well, they pretty much have trouble-free operation of their machine for the rest of the time. So that's really important. We really stress that part of it is a good setup.
Yeah. I know.
So,
Chip can tell you, he's been out to people's houses. It's the frame, our frame's not level and the track's not straight. And it's a pretty simple for him, but you know.
Matter of fact, Chip is one of our authorized mechanics. It's actually on our list. If we have people in the Oregon area up there, in Seattle and all those areas, we've got Chip on our list. So if y'all buy a machine from up in that area, and Chip may be out there installing it for you.
Hi, Sally Ann.
Sally Ann, so Sally Ann, where are you from? Everybody, tell me where you're from too. I like to see how many people, you know, where everybody's at. And hey, I know Jamie A, because Jamie tell us where you're from, because I know Jamie won a prize. I think during our big product launch extravaganza. I think, didn't she win a sewing machine, guys? Jamie, did you not win a sewing machine on our show? I thought you did. But anyway, tell us where you're from, everybody. I'd like to see kind of where across the country where everybody's at. And there we go. Ty Quilter, Chicago. So coming now all the way from the Windy City. So Jamie's in Alabama. So y'all welcome to the show today. It's Minnesota. Lynn is from Minnesota. The Mini Lakes. And Tammy, Gary Thacker, Kentucky. So I love it. Barbara Wright, Cary, North Carolina. Linda's in Alaska.
Wow.
Josie is in Canada.
Wow.
Hey, is it, so we got people from all over. Danielle's from New Jersey. So we got people from all over the nation. I love this. Everybody coming together. Hey, there's somebody from, is that Ashley? I can't read the.
Asuli.
Asuli. Okay. I couldn't read it from here. Asuli from California. So we got some people from California on today. So when are we going to be able to get you down here, Amy, to come back and do some things? I'd love to have a little, stripper seminar.
Yeah. Well, as soon as your guys' regulations open up, I'll be down there.
Well, hey, we're working on it right now. We actually are getting ready to send a survey out to all of our local customers and see, what their comfort level is about coming into the classroom and having a live class. And then, it's kind of funny how things happen. Who would have thought that we'd had this, COVID thing that just goes nationwide and it's caused our whole way of life to change. But I think some good is coming out of this, and it's forcing people to kind of use technology a little bit more. And so, we're going to do a lot more hybrid type events where even if we brought you down and you're live in our store and we have a live, audience in the classroom, we're going to stream events live as well. So people that are nationwide can take part in it as well. So we're going to probably forever be doing that. And so it just, I think it widens the education across the nation a lot more since we can stream. And I know, you yourself probably, wouldn't even thought about, being on a Facebook Live show or streaming things, 2 years ago. It was just about making videos,
It's pretty crazy, but I'm embracing it. I love it. So it gives me the chance to do something like this where normally we wouldn't even be doing something. So
right. Yeah. So does Amy do lessons remotely?
I do lessons remotely, and you'll find that on my my webpage.
So did we ever put her web address up there? I think we've got the Facebook and Instagram. We have our web. What's your web address, Amy? Again.
SewFabAmy.com.
SewFabbing or SewFab? SewFabbing?
Yep, that's it.
Oh, there it is. There it is. SewFabbing.com. So everybody go check out Amy's Facebook page or Instagram page, and then also her website. And Amy will answer any questions you may have. You can always contact her direct. And Amy, I know you're a busy lady, and we sure do appreciate you taking the time out this morning to come on and tell us all about stripping and the binding and using that long arm on it, because I had no idea. I'd never heard of anybody doing that before, and I've been doing this for a long time. And so I was excited to see it because, I've always heard about people, fighting that quilt and on their domestic machine to do all that same things. And you're making it look so easy the way you just did it.
Yeah, I'm all about the easy way.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to let you go. We'll say so long. And hey, tell Chip, thanks for running the camera for you. And we appreciate him and look forward to seeing y'all again soon when y'all come down.
Sounds good. Thanks. And I'm looking forward to that quilt show.
All right. So everybody say goodbye to Amy. And we sure do appreciate her coming in. And everybody make sure you go check her website out and her Instagram page and her Facebook page. Hey, make sure you're sharing. If you like our show, make sure you share it on your Facebook page. Make sure that you comment or ask questions for a chance to win. And sharing, it's going to enter you as well. Share it as many times as you can. And so, guys, are we ready to give our first giveaway away? We want to give something away. Okay. So the first thing, before I give anything away, I'm going to tell them a little bit about what's coming up, and I want y'all to kind of stay tuned. So we've been doing some virtual events, and many of y'all may have signed up for. We've done some with OESD. We've also done some with Dime, and we've done some things with SewSteady. And those have been absolutely free. You can sign up and go through the class for free. You're getting access to some special prices that only people that go to the show get the pricing. And we're going to continue to do some of those. However, we do have a couple unique events that we're coming up, we're working on. We're going to announce those dates very, very soon. One of them is going to be with SewSteady. And SewSteady is going to be a 3-day event, 4 hours each day, 12 hours total. And it's going to be a hands-on workshop that you're actually going to be able to do it from your own home. And this is going to be a fee. It will cost some money to sign up for this. However, when you sign up, we are going to actually ship you the kit into your house that you're going to use to do the event. So it's going to be a really unique event. It's going to be really cool. And we're super excited about it. Been working on this, and we're going to launch that probably next week. We're going to put that out to everybody so you can see the dates and go ahead and start getting signed up for it. We also have a Floriani event coming up, and so look forward to that, and we'll have that going. And another great event that we're going to have, it's going to be another hands-on event, virtual event, and it's with Sue Green Baker. I think everybody knows Sue Green. She was on our show earlier this year. Sue Green is a Baby Lock ambassador. Well, I think she used to be. I don't think she's with Baby Lock anymore, but she's on her own. But she's the guru of sergers, and she knows everything there is to know about the Baby Lock sergers. And she's got a new event that we've been working on with her to get launched, and it's going to be a virtual hands-on serger event. And it's going to be, we're going to have it in two different segments. There's going to be one event that's going to be for basic sergering, and then there's going to be an advanced serging class. And so it's going to be a great event. We're going to have all those details ready probably next week to put out to you, so you can see all that. If you want to sign up for that, you'll have plenty of time. So some great things coming up, and we're super excited about it. And then again, we're going to be working on this virtual quilt show, and we'll get Amy involved in that. And I think that's going to be a great thing. We'll have Handi Quilter involved. And so that's kind of a neat thing, guys. I think it'll be something really exciting. And so all you quilters out there, start working on a quilt now, or if you already have one, get it ready, because I want to, we'll have everybody submit their pictures, and we'll have all of you vote on the ones you like, and we'll give prizes to the first 3 places. So I think that'll be an awesome thing to do. So keep tuned for all the events that we're going to be doing. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. And so we ready to give something away? Are y'all ready to win something? This is my favorite part of the show, giving stuff away. All right, so our first thing is Robin Watson, what did she win? You don't even know what I gave away yet. All right, so Robin Watson, are you on? Chime in if you're there so we know you're here, and just say, yes, I won. Because anyway, what I'm going to give away is I'm giving away our Handi Quilter swag bag. So you get a little bag, the light blue bag. It says Quilter's Rules on it, and it's this. I can't really see what all it says. If y'all can see that, it says, "Do your best, have patience, be creative, make mistakes, and share ideas." So, and then on the other side, it has our Sewing Machines Plus logo and our locations. And so you get this bag, you get your Handi Quilter apron, you're going to get your little tumbler, and you get your little scissor holder for your snap to your apron. So anyway, that all comes in the Handi Quilter swag bag. So Robin, if you're on there, please chime in and say that you won. Oh, I see a heart. So Robin, you win that. Make sure, Robin, that you send me an email today with your shipping address, and we'll get that shipped right out to you. And hopefully we'll get it shipped today, David, right? So David's going to get shipped out today as soon as you get me to your shipping address. So in CEO at SewingMachinesPlus.com, and we'll get that right out to you. Okay, our second giveaway. So this time, before you give the winner, let me tell them what they're winning first. All right. All right, so Robin won that, and let me get that put in her swag bag. All right, so our next little prize package is, y'all like those? Everybody loves our little swag bags. and they have, every one of them have little sayings on them. And we have a multitude of colors. There's 8 different ones to choose from. And if you buy this whole pack on our website, I think the bags are $9 each. If you buy them on our website as a packet, it's $49.99. And so this is a $49.99 value. And we are going to give 2 of these packages away today. So we're going to give somebody 2 sets of those. So the first winner of the first bundle is who? So Irene, is that how you pronounce her last name? Altus? Altus, is that right? Altus? So Irene, I hope I didn't butcher your last name, but hey, congratulations, Irene, and make sure you chime in and say I won, or do like Robin did and put a little heart, and let us know you're here and that you won. And then again, if you get us your shipping address to CEO@SewingMachinesPlus.com, and we'll get this shipped out to you today. So I want to get the prizes out. I think if anybody won prizes in the past and hadn't been getting them on a timely basis, we've kind of worked some things differently, and hopefully from now on we're going to ship them the same day you win them, so you'll get them very quickly. And we've had so much going on, and it's been a little challenging with, we got a lot of people in our company are working from home, so it makes it a little bit more challenging to do things like this. So we've kind of worked that out, and hopefully won't be any delays. There's Irene. She won. Congratulations, Irene. Hey, Irene, tell me where you live. So chime right back in and tell us where you live. And so congratulations to Irene. And I think David is pulling up another winner. So we're going to have another winner for our bag bundle. And Erica L. So Erica L., if you're still on, make sure you come in and chime in and say, hey, I won. And let us know where you're from too. And so congratulations, Erica. Hope you're still on the show. And so we're going to give something else away, guys. What are we giving away next? Do we don't do the sewing machine next, or we don't do something else? What else we got to give away? Sewing machine? How many sewing machines we got? Just one? How about we give away a mat, a sewing mat? See these sewing mats, everybody? Anybody want to win a sewing mat? So if you don't know about our sewing mats, I always tell everybody about these things. If you own a sewing machine, you need one of these mats. I don't care what kind of sewing machine you have, you need a sewing mat. These are like a huge mouse pad that we have these custom made for us, and they're 1/4 inch thick neoprene. And what they do, they act as functions. So basically what they do is it takes all the vibration from your machine, dampens it so it doesn't transfer it to the electronics of the machine, and makes it last longer. The second thing it does, it cuts down and dampens all the noise that your machine puts out, so it makes it a lot quieter. And then the third thing it does, if you have it on a really nice cabinet, or you even have it on your kitchen table and you don't want to scratch that surface, it protects the surface you have this machine sitting on. So it's a 3-function purpose, and we love these things. And to take care of them, they're extremely easy. You just take a damp cloth and you can just wipe them down, keep them clean. And they come in a sealed plastic tube. I think we have one over here. Today, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something different, guys. Can you pull the page up? It shows all of our sewing mats. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to let you pick the one that you want. How's that? We have 9 different mats to choose from and a bunch of different sizes. We have this one that you see on my table is the extra large, and then we have a large and we have a medium size. And they're pretty cool, different ones. But we have a bunch of different colors. There's the page right there. We have the Brother Blue, Baby Lock Gold, Bernina Red, and then we have pink, light blue, and purple. And then we have some limited edition ones. We have a American flag that's waving. We have we call it the Best Friends. If you want to pull that up, David. I think there's pictures somewhere, maybe at the bottom, or there they are. Show the pictures of the Best Friends one. And those are basically, we have it in pink and light blue, and you can see they have dogs and cats on them and paw prints, and then they have a shadow dog, cat, and paw prints kind of in the background, and they look kind of like they're quilted as well, the fabric. So it looks really cool. So we have those in pink, those in light blue, and then we also showed the you want to show that American flag one? I think we have it somewhere. Look at the bottom of the page. There it was. So you can blow that up. So there's the American flag waving, and that is also a sewing mat. So we have them 9 different colors to choose from. Today, we're going to let you pick the one you won, or the one you want for the winner. So let's pick a winner, and if you win, come back and say, hey, I won, and this is the color I want, the one I want. So Sharon Baiting is our winner. So Sharon, congratulations. Come back and tell us, hey, where you're living, and tell us what mat you want, and we're gonna send the one that you want, and tell us the size too. If you want a medium, large, or extra large. And I think the limited edition ones, the cat and dog, and what we call the best friends, that one in the pink and light blue, and the American flag only come in the extra large size, but all the rest of them come in the mediums, large, or extra large. Okay, so we'll do that. So while we're waiting on Sharon to come back and tell us that, let's show our grand prize today. Let's show that up on the screen. And this is the brother, and I think I've got this number right. Is this the one? It's the FB 1757J. Is that the last number on it? T, that's it. Called the T for the table. That's right. So it's an FB 1757T sewing machine, and it has the extension table that comes with it. Great little brother machine, and so we're going to have that. That's going to be our grand prize today, and we're going to give that away. And hey, there's Sharon. How exciting! Super. I love your mask, Sharon. That's awesome. And so tell us which mat that you want. And again, Sharon, send us your shipping address to CEO@SewingMachinesPlus.com, and we're going to get you your mat out to you today. And but I want to wait and see what color mat you want. All right, so we got a winner pulled up yet for our sewing machine. Is that our winner, Kathy? So Kathy, congratulations. Kathy was asking a question about, I remember her question earlier about the batting. So Kathy, you win the brother sewing machines today. Make sure that you email me today your shipping address, and we'll get this thing shipped out to you today. So awesome, congratulations. Did we ever hear back about the mat yet? Not yet. All right, she's probably looking and trying to choose which one. But anyway, once you figure out what color mat you want, make sure you might even put that in the email to me to which one you want, so we know which one to ship you. And the mats are, if anybody is interested in one, we have them priced at from $44.95 or $99 to $49, depending on the size. And we recommend everybody get one of these. They're such a good investment for your machine. And nowadays, as expensive as a lot of these machines are, you want them to last as long as you can. So anyway, I wanted to say a big special birthday out there to my sister Kippy. She is going to be celebrating her, I can't tell you what year it is, but it's, I guess I'll say, her 60th birthday Saturday. And I wish we could be out there with you, sis. But the COVID thing's kind of slowed down everybody's travel. But anyway, happy birthday, Kippy. And we'll look forward to seeing my family soon. We haven't got to see each other in a long time. So I know many of y'all are kind of that same way, been stuck at home. So anyway, hey guys, we're always looking for your suggestions. Make sure you send us emails, make comments on here. Make sure you share this show to your friends. Share it as many times as you want. I want to try to build this thing up even bigger so we can share some ideas and have a lot more fun. And we're always looking for new content. So if you have something out there that you'd like to see on our show, hey, make sure you chime in and send us an email and let us know. We would love to hear from you. And next week, I want to talk, or not next week. Yeah, I guess it is next week. Next week, I want to tell you, I don't know if anybody's got a chance to check out our new show that we have, but we have a new show. It's called Tea Time with Candace, and it's always going to be the opposite week my show is. So it'll be, I'm on every other Thursday. Candace's show will be every other Thursday. And Candace is fantastic. Great show. She is an expert serger. She's pretty much an expert at anything. I mean, she knows all about sewing, teaches classes, but she's got a new show. It's called Tea Time with Candace, and it talks about tools, techniques, and tips. So I think it's tools, tips, and techniques. And there it is. So it's tools, tips, and techniques with Candace. And so that was her show she had last Thursday. the next show is actually, she's going to have Deb Donovan on, and Deb actually works for us as well. And their show is going to be So What's New. So they're going to talk about anything that's either a new technique, a new tool, or a new tip. But it's going to be So What's New, and a lot of times they even discuss new products that come in and a lot of things. So you don't want to miss that show, guys. It's a great show, and Deb and Candace are fantastic. And I always tell everybody, Deb Donovan is like a walking encyclopedia of sewing stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, if I need to know something, I call Deb and say, Deb, what is the model of this machine that was made back in 1970? And she'll spit it out. I mean, she knows. It's amazing. So you don't want to miss that show, guys. It's a great show, and they're very hands-on. They're going to answer questions and talk about a lot of things. So I don't want to miss that. Our show in 2 weeks from now, which is David, is the 17th. Is that correct? All right. Guys, you don't want to miss our next show. It's going to be the 17th, September 17th, and we have a special celebrity guest coming on, and we're super pumped. We have Joanne Banco is going to be on our show. Joanne is an expert embroiderer, sewer. She is an author of a book. She has been on many episodes of the sewing show called It's So Easy, that's on PBS. And she's an ambassador for Brother. She does everything. And so what is the name of her book again, guys? Wrapped in Embroidery. That's it. So it's Wrapped in Embroidery is the name of her book. And so think about that a minute. Wrapped in embroidery. That can mean a lot of things, but it means anything that you can wear and it has embroidery on it. So she does a tremendous job. I'm so excited about having her on the show. I haven't worked with Joanne in a while. It's been a while since I've seen her, and looking so forward to that. But you're in for a treat. She's fantastic. And okay, Christy, our time, so everybody will know, we're always on every Thursday. It's always going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And so that's 1 o'clock Central Time. We're always going to be on every other Thursday. I will every other Thursday at that time. And then Candace's show is exactly the same time. It's at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, and it's going to be the opposite Thursdays of mine. So, but y'all don't want to miss Joanne in 2 weeks. So make sure you mark that on the calendar. And Kyle, what is that thing, the reminder? How can they get that reminder? Okay, so Kyle just explained that. I don't know if y'all could hear that or not, but when we post the show, advertising the show, you can actually go on and click on that show, and it'll tell you to remind you of it. And does it send them a text message? It sends a notification on your phone to remind you so you won't miss it. And it comes up on your, like a text message. So you can go set your reminders on that so you don't miss it. So as soon as David posts the advertisement on Facebook, you can go hit that and click on it, and it'll say set the reminder. And then how long before the show? An hour before the show, it reminds them? Okay, so right when the show goes live, it's going to text you to, hey, it reminds you in case you forgot. So I know that my mom, I think, does that, because my mom, hey, Mom, I'm sure you're on watching today. She always watches our show. And my other sister, Robin, I think, is probably watching today, too. She's got into embroidery and sewing. So, and my mom's got a scan and cut. She makes all these fancy cards all the time. So glad y'all are watching today. So anyway, you don't want to miss Joanne. Y'all, if y'all don't know her, you're going to fall in love with her. She is such a nice lady, and so, I mean, just so intelligent, and I love working with her. She is going to give you some great tips, and we're going to talk about a lot of cool stuff. And we got some special giveaways too in 2 weeks that you're going to really want to be here for, because she's associated with Brother, so I can tell you right now it's going to be some Brother products, and we'll give some of our things away too, but you don't want to miss this. All right, guys, y'all have anything David or Kyle, y'all have anything to add? All right, guys, I think we're good to hear. Hey, appreciate everybody saying tuned in today, and hope to see y'all in 2 weeks. Y'all take care out there.